Republican presidential candidates head to New Hampshire next Tuesday for their next test. They'll be appearing right here on Bloomberg Television for the Bloomberg Washington Post Republican presidential debate. For the latest on the candidates, we bring in our own Washington executive editor, Al Hunt. And Al, give us your thoughts on the candidate as this debate approaches next Tuesday.
Well, Scarlett, first, I really am excited about it, not just because Bloomberg is doing it, and we have an all-star cast of questioners as well as candidates, Charlie Rose, Juliana Goldman, Karen Tellman of the Washington Post. So I'm excited about that, but I also think this is the issue that Americans overwhelmingly care most about: the economy, jobs, debt. And I think a chance to have an entire 90 minutes of debate which focuses on that issue is really a golden opportunity right now.
Absolutely. Does frontrunner Mitt Romney then have the most to lose, because he is seen as the heir apparent to getting that nomination?
Well, he's certainly the frontrunner, and in that sense you can say he has the most at risk. Also, this is an issue that he is comfortable with. He's a former business executive. He wants to talk about the economy. So I think there's a trade-off there.
But he hasn't really offered much in the way of specific solutions on the economy, has he?
He's been more specific than a lot of candidates. He has a 59-point program. Now, some of it is a bit vague, but when it comes to specificity, other than perhaps John Huntsman and Herman Cain, Mitt Romney has been as specific, if not more so, than anybody.
Okay, you mentioned Herman Cain. What does he have to do to legitimize himself as a contender and as someone who can really potentially win this race?
Well, he's been, as you suggest in your questions, Scarlett, really the flavor of the day, the flavor of the week. I think it's now in a more substantive stage, and I think he has to deal with some of those questions. And if he rises to that, then he will be a first-tier candidate.
Al, I know that you sat down with Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois earlier, and he is your guest on Political Capital for this week. He had the following to say about the Senate's plans for President Obama's jobs proposal. Let's listen in.
As far as the Senate and the Democrats in the Senate, we will provide an overwhelming number of votes in support of the president's jobs plan. We may come at it differently. We talked about the pay-fors this week, but the votes will be there if we can put together a bipartisan coalition. We still need 60 votes in the Senate.
That's still a very big if, isn't it, Dick? Isn't it, Al?
Yeah, it sure is. And the pay-for is key. I think if you took the president's jobs bill on an up or down vote and was a free lunch and didn't have to pay for it, most of it would pass, and would pass with well over 60 votes. The pay-for, however, is the rub. And if they can get some kind of an agreement on that, they have to pay for it, then I think it's got a pretty good chance. I will be very surprised, Scarlett, if the Congress goes out without extending that that payroll tax cut for another year.
Okay, now very quickly, just want to get your take on the drama on Capitol Hill. You had amendments to the China currency bill that caused Harry Reid to rejig rule protocol. This is all before China opens up for trading next week.
This is gamesmanship, Scarlett. This measure is not going to become law. I doubt it can get through the House. I'm not sure about that. I doubt it will come up for a vote in the House, and Barack Obama will not sign it. So this is not going to become law. What it is a chance to play politics, and I suppose some people would argue to send a message to the Chinese about how unhappy we are with what is clear currency manipulation. But it's a dangerous piece of legislation, a lot of people believe, and it's not going to become law.
All right. Thanks so much, Al. We covered a lot of ground today. And, of course, you can catch more of Al Hunt and his full sit-down with Dick Durbin, the senator, right here on Bloomberg, 9 p.m. tonight on Political Capital with Al Hunt.